We are Southeastern 16. I'm Chase Robinson. That is Chris Lee. As we continue giving you 3 bold predictions for every SEC football team as we get ready for the 2024 season. And it is the Vanderbilt Commodores' turn for 3 bold predictions today. So we will give you those right after we talk about BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from UFC to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, you can go to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of the over 150 slots games. Head over to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, Chris, the Commodores, new season. You think back to last year, and 2 wins to start the season against Hawaii and Alabama A&M. Dropped the rest of their schedule, including all of their SEC games. Something needs to change this year. Of course, you want to see some wins in conference play. I think that will help to start. You start the year off with Virginia Tech. It's a tough start to the season. But when it comes to 3 bold predictions for the Vanderbilt Commodores, what would your first bold prediction be, Chris?
Well, Chase, you said something needs to change. And Vanderbilt changed a lot of things. It hit the portal hard. It changed offenses. It brought in Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator from New Mexico State. It brought in Jerry Kill, who was his head coach, who is basically an analyst, but also running their offense. And the changes that come with that, Chase, are going to be that this is going to be a more ground-oriented offense. So sometimes that's going to be running out of the quarterback position, but a lot of times that's going to be running out of the tailback position. And if you listen to Beck talk, as we're doing this midway through camp, I think it's clear that Sedrick Alexander is Vanderbilt's number 1 back. I think he's the guy that they want to lead them in carries. Now, look, I think there's going to be a lot of carries to go around. I think you'll see Diego Pavia carry the ball a lot. I think you'll see the backups get some work. But Sedrick Alexander is a guy that they clearly like. He is a sophomore. He's got a little bit of ability to break some runs. And here's another thing he does, Chase. He caught 18 balls a year ago. And I think dump-offs are going to be a feature of this offense. So I think Sedrick Alexander, if you include receiving yards, is going to go over 1,000 yards. I think I thought about doing it for rushing yards, but that seems a little too bold. But if you're playing in an SEC fantasy football league and it's a deep league and you're looking to maybe snipe a guy at the end that can give you some value, I think Sedrick Alexander is going to be a guy that's going to be overlooked by most people because, let's face it, who out there is talking about Vanderbilt? But I think if you're looking, in a deep draft and you're looking maybe with that last pick or last couple of picks, I think you could snag Sedrick Alexander for your fantasy team and probably be pretty happy about what you get from that pick in the end.
Yeah, I think that's a great bold prediction there for Vanderbilt. I'm going to move over to the defensive side of the ball for mine. I'm going to go with linebacker Langston Patterson as a top tackler in the SEC. They need to have someone like that on this defense this year. They allowed a lot of points last year, really in recent history there at Vanderbilt. So they need a guy who could get some stops. And my bold prediction is Langston Patterson is that guy, and he finishes as one of the top tacklers in the SEC. Again, their defense really needs that in a year like this year.
Yeah, I could very easily see Langston Patterson as a top 5 tackler in the league. I think he had mid-70s a year ago. I don't think he even started games till midway through the year. And then that tackle sheet, if I remember, he was getting double digits every game on his way out the door of the season. That kid plays with his hair on fire. I like your pick there. I think Langston Patterson is going to have a big year for me. Chase, has been a long time, but remember when Vanderbilt used to pump out linebackers that would just kill the tackle sheet, going back to Zach Cunningham. It's been a minute since I had a guy like that, but I think you've tabbed the right guy here because I think Langston Patterson, based on what we saw at the end of last season, is going to have some really big games.
Yeah, and again, they need a guy like that. They need an anchor on their defense, and I think Patterson could be it for them for sure. So what's the third bold prediction you got for us, Chris?
Chase, the defensive numbers at Vanderbilt. I mean, this is a program that in this decade or in this millennium, I guess, is put up some respectable defenses at times, but it's been a few years since we've seen that. Last year, 36.2 points a game. I think they've been in mid-30s for several years. And I look, Clark Lee is now running the defense. He was a defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. They had Nick Howell the last 2 years. That did not go very well. Clark Lee, say what you want about him as a head coach. It's not gone particularly well. I don't know if that's all his fault. Vanderbilt's a hard place to win. But the last time we saw Clark Lee as a defensive coordinator, he was coaching one of the best defenses in the country at Notre Dame. Now, does Vanderbilt have Notre Dame talent? No, it does not. But what did Vanderbilt do in the offseason, Chase? It hit the portal hard. It added a few guys in the portal. That defensive line is deeper than it's been. I don't know if there's standouts there, but I think there's bodies that they can rotate that they didn't do a year ago. We talked about linebacker. Langston Patterson is going to be one of the better ones in this league. The secondary, they added a couple of starters, and Randon Fontenette, who's super talented, and Colby Taylor from Wyoming at corner, who I think they really needed help at corner. And they've got C.J. Taylor. That's a name a lot of people know. One of the better safeties in the league. They've also got Ricky Wright coming back. Is this a top half of the league defense? No, it's not. Do they have problems in their schedule? Yeah, they do. They got to play Texas. They got to go to LSU. They got to play Tennessee. So I thought about saying I think Vanderbilt is going to hold teams under 30 points a game this year. That's a little bit bold given the schedule. But, hey, you can pile up some numbers early against Alcorn State, maybe Georgia State and Ball State. I think this is a year that Vanderbilt's going to shave about 5 points off its output last year defensively, go from 36 to 31 points a game allowed. That feels doable given the changes. And who knows? If things go well, they might get that under 30.
Yeah, and I think that would be huge this season if they could do that, if they could make that happen. And again, the schedule is tough. There's no way around that. Even for Vanderbilt, I mean, you got Alabama, you got Texas, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri, Auburn. All on this schedule, and then some. And so it's tough. But yeah, it would be really good if Vanderbilt could do that this season. So we'll have you covered on all things Vanderbilt this season, as well as the rest of the SEC here on Southeastern 16. We've got our football show each week. We have individual videos that we put out daily here on the channel. So subscribe to Southeastern 16. Like this video, share it with your friends, and help us spread the word about Southeastern 16. If you'd like to sponsor our content as well, you can reach out to us, caroline.smith at southeastern14.com, and we can begin those conversations on sponsoring our content here on the channel. We got you covered with SEC football, basketball, and baseball. For Chris Lee, I'm Chase Robinson. This is Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.